Hey there, internets. This is Kyle with another edition of the My Business Launch Secrets YouTube channel. We're on day 116 of this fun, magical ride and my journey in starting a new online business and trying to get from $0 to $1 million within the course of a year, starting from scratch and doing this only on a part-time basis because I still have a day job, kids to feed, and bills to pay. Don't you know it? On today's episode, I do have a bit of an update on the website, which I talked about maybe 2 videos ago. I did actually sit down here this evening over the past few hours after the kids were bed and wife fell asleep early and had to get shit done. So came down here and got all the rest of the pages that I needed to just fill out the words that I needed to get on the pages and added, a couple of graphics here and there so it looks like a legit website thing. Got all that done. But I'm not yet quite ready to push it to go live, so I need to go in and adjust the, I don't know what you call it, page descriptions and titles of all the various pages just to be sure, like, once Google starts picking it up on the search engines that it, has the right information available to it. And I'm just too tired right now because it's after midnight and I have to get up early for some meetings at work tomorrow. So I just figured I'd call it quits for the day. Again, made some good progress, but once I get that pushed live, hopefully tomorrow, then maybe in tomorrow's video I can actually show it here through the video and explains at least my thought process and how I set it up and what I did and why I made the decisions that I did. The main theme here is trying to just get something pushed live just as soon as possible, just to try to get some momentum going. Particular point that I heard Russell Brunson make in a podcast episode I was listening today, the Marketing Secrets podcast, where he was describing I think it was a friend of his or maybe somebody that signed up for one of his coaching things, or I'm not sure exactly, but some dude that he knew, he understood that this guy was trying to build an online business part-time. He had a family, he had a day job. Again, pretty much sounded like identical situation to how I'm approaching this, being involved, trying to get involved in the community to a certain degree. I've been to Funnel Hacking Live, I have a ClickFunnels account, so I'm trying to do the thing, but, again, it's just like I just don't have tons of free time, and it's hard to just get something launched. And he even said this guy that he was referencing had been like kind of working on it for like over, I don't know what he said exactly, but like a couple of years, so quite a while, and definitely longer than I think the time that I've been working more concretely on this plan. I mean, yeah, I'm 116 days in as of the recording of this video, and, still don't have anything launched, no product to start collecting revenue, etc. But I at least feel better than folks that, just tend to sit on the sidelines for not just months, but for years. And so I can at least say, well, I think I'm on the right track. I don't know. Not to exactly pat myself on the back for doing a great job and make a lot of money or anything, but just, again, recognizing that even recording these freaking videos, which are, again, more just for my own accountability, not for any real entertainment purposes, even doing these has certainly helped, even though I've many evenings not wanted to do them. They have helped me to maintain focus on this path that I'm on. And sure, as I acknowledged, I think in yesterday's video, there are some things, going on in my day job, work life stuff that, could potentially change the direction that I was going on when I originally started down this path 116 days ago, or roughly thereabouts. Anyway, so there's stuff going on in my day job that could affect this potentially, but that's okay. I think that'll just be for a season as I have to, free up a little more time in my schedule to transition to a new opportunity there. But, that's a decision on if I even have that opportunity, actually finalize. That's a decision I will have to make. But it's one that I will make actively and not just allow it to kind of push aside this, original plan I had. It'll be a conscious choice that I'm making, which I think is, again, the more important part. Not just did you reach the goal that you had, but if you didn't reach that goal, was there a conscious decision made somewhere along the way to say, well, I am intentionally not going to meet that goal because I am choosing to do something different. Yeah, well, I think just in general, what you don't want to do is just set a bunch of goals and then just kind of forget about them. And then you ask yourself at the end of the year, like, oh shit, like, why didn't I do that thing I wanted to do? And it's like, because you just got blown around by the breeze of whatever the whims of the day or the week or the month were, and you just didn't get shit done. So just trying to live more intentionally, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And not to say I'm an expert in doing that, and I know all the ins and outs, and I've got this all figured out. But it's something I'm trying to grow in my own skill set to do that. Speaking of this kind of topic, I took the Myers-Briggs personality profile through another one of Russell Brunson's new companies, Understand.me, which is basically just a website you can go to, and they've got, 5 or so different personality assessment tests you can access. And it's actually free just to go through the assessment, and you get like your main scores, and then they upsell you if you want a more comprehensive report describing your personality profile, which I bought. It was only $30 for the disc profile. And I don't know if I've probably taken a disc profile at some point, DISC. That's I don't remember what they are exactly, but I remember I'm high on S and C, which is more for a why don't I just pull it up real quick? Okay, yeah, just pulling up my report here. So disc for dominance, influence, steadiness, and conscientious, being conscientious. So I score very high on steadiness, S, and conscientious, C. Dominance is kind of my third highest, although it's much lower than S and C, and then the I, which is influence, is lower, which that makes sense. That's my natural style, as they say. My adapted style is I can push myself to be a little more influential, I guess. And yeah, that makes sense. I'm not naturally inclined to be this type of person that's putting myself out in front of the world or just in front of my peers at work or wherever, and be the one that's going out, eager to get out in front of people and lead the stage. But I can do it. In various contexts, I can push myself in that regard, and it's not too uncomfortable. So yes, I am supportive and analytical, borderline between supportive and analytical, and very analytical in my personality, which makes sense. PhD engineer. I'm sure a lot of engineer types fall into these categories. For reasoning, I'm more evidence-based as opposed to intuition. I don't usually tend to kind of be one that says, I trust my gut on this thing. I think that's an area I'm trying to work on, doing more so. But I tend to just look at the facts and make a decision based on the facts. In terms of decision making, I'm more cautious than impulsive. That makes sense. I prefer to prioritize rules over just getting a result. So I like to see some kind of structure that I'm following in order to get to the result, rather than just saying, I don't need any of that. I'm just going to get shit done. Which I think that this is when I'm trying to be more willing to accept ambiguity in accomplishing a given result. Because, just frankly, in a lot of things in life, you don't always have a very structured data set to work from, at least not in the types of jobs that I have. Change resistance. I am more reluctant to change as opposed to being one that drives change, which is true. That is my natural style. Self-reliance, I'm sort of in the middle of being directive and collaborative, which is probably, sounds about right. I don't mind kind of stepping up and taking the lead in a small group sort of deal, just telling people, hey, I need you to do this, that, or whatever. But at the same time, wanting to work with them to kind of find the right fit for what everybody's role should be. In terms of accuracy, I prefer precision over predictability. It says your plans are a combination of careful deliberations to ensure quality outcomes and systems and processes that allow forward movement in a steady environment. Work process alignment, I prefer accuracy over consistency. Your process and follow-through is balanced between keeping things methodical and steady and upholding quality standards to be sure what you're doing is accurate and precise. Building rapport, I'm more results-focused as opposed to relationships-focused, which, that makes sense. I tend to view relationships in terms of, frankly, kind of like, what's the ROI? Is this worth investing? Is this relationship worth investing my time as? What's the result I'm getting out of spending this time with building a relationship sort of thing, as opposed to just building relationships for relationship's sake, which some people just like to do that. I'm just not that type of guy. So that makes sense. And personal drive, I am others-driven as opposed to self-driven. Again, this is another one I'm trying to work on. I think, yes, that does fit my natural tendencies. I'm kind of here to support somebody else, somebody else giving me the direction, and then I can, help them achieve that. So I'm driven by somebody else as opposed to me just being the one in charge, setting the direction, setting the vision. Again, that's kind of what I'm trying to do here, and, pushing myself into, an online business thing where I'm kind of this, what is it called? The figurehead or the attractive character, as Russell Brunson puts it, being one that's more willing to set that vision and get people behind him to support what he's doing. Providing instruction, I'm more reserved and detailed as opposed to directive and compulsive. Customer and team interaction, I'm more supporting than engaging. Makes sense. Expressing openness, I'm more structural than social, which, yes, definitely. Anyway, I've been meaning to kind of look through doing this. I've heard Russell talk about this understand.me website, and, it is something I'm trying to better understand. Not that I don't already understand kind of my preferences and my personality type, because then there's nothing really surprising in here about any of this, but just kind of seeing like how strongly I favor certain areas over others, I think at least helps me to understand, what are the areas that I would like to start to make concerted efforts to shift some of those natural tendencies. I mean, not to say anybody has to change their personality type or anything, but I think for me, for what I would like to achieve, in the next phase of my life, is going to force me to get a little bit more out of my element in a sense. And so I think this is kind of helpful to see the breakdown and understand where I'm just not weaker, but where I'm less inclined to go in terms of my personality, and start taking small steps every day to sort of push myself towards that, towards being somebody who's more influential, let's say, who's more willing to speak up and provide that vision, the direction to others. Some of those things that I would like to push myself to do more of, and it's just going to take, consistent work to, get the neurons firing in different directions and rewiring the old brain, right? So, and yeah, it's good at least to have a baseline here of what things look like. So this is helpful. I think I'll have my wife take one as well, just to kind of see where she falls. Again, I could probably predict about where she's at. Her and I are certainly going to be different in some areas, but we do have some similarities. So I didn't really mean to get off on a tangent there about personality profiles, but I did just think that was interesting. What else? So tomorrow's Friday. Today's Friday, I guess, technically. Have a couple more, not real formal interviews for the old day job thing, but I am touching base with some other leaders in the company. I'll just say that I know more personally, and I just reached out to and said, hey, can we just have a chat about this whole deal, and just kind of want to get their perspective on things, and yeah, just to get their perspective on how things are going in the company and where they think I might be the best fit. So looking forward to that. Did get my travel booked for actually going out to visit the company end of next week. So maybe I'll take this microphone on the road for a little road show. I'll only be there, I will only be in the city for less than 24 hours. It's like fly in Thursday night, get in there, land at like 10 o'clock or something, and then I fly out like 5 p.m. or 5 p.m. I think the next day. Fortunately, they don't have me starting like super early. I'll have to, first appointment is at like 9:30 in the morning. Great, so I can have some sleepy time because I like that. With that, I'll end it. Hope you're all doing well. Keep on kicking ass, taking names. I'll see you on the next one. Peace.